Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank you for coming tonight, and also for the organizers for the great effort that they put in this night to happen. So in my talk, I will be talking about two different types of memories. I will not tell you about them. I will leave you discover them as my talk goes. So let's get started. I will start by asking a question. Have you ever had a very bad memory, a traumatic one, like an accident or maybe a harsh breakup, that would like to get rid of without affecting other memories we cherish? I do. Can I see show of hands, please? Okay. As expected, so many of you. So, could I please ask you to look here, and for all the others, could I please ask only the people who raised their hands to look here, and all the others kindly close your eyes? But wait a minute here. Is it really possible that we can get rid of memories? Or is it just crazy notion from sci-fi movies? Well, before I answer this question, let me first take you through the process of how memory researchers, including myself, study memory. There are different types of memories, but we mostly care about emotional memories, because simply if you combine an emotion to a memory, it burns into your brain and can literally persist with you throughout your entire life. Emotions, like happiness, or sadness, or maybe fear. So let's take fear as an example, because it's very easy to induce in the lab. To do so, we bring our daily collaborators, the lab mice. We put these lab animals into a chamber or a box. This box they have never been into before. So as a first reflex, they like to move everywhere exploring this box. But after a while, we give them an electric shock. That it's mild, but enough though to make them associate that this box is harmful for them. So as every single time we put them back into the box, they remember that this box was harmful for them, and they refuse to move, and they freeze out of fear. Great. Now we have successfully created a fear memory. Is it possible that we can get rid of what we have just created? It turns out that the only known treatment for fear memories is exposure-based, meaning you have to confront your fears to be able to get rid of them. And this is exactly what we do with the lab animals. So we put them back into the box. Initially, they refuse to move, remembering that this box was harmful for them. But if you put them into this box several sessions a day, for many consecutive days, the fear tends to go down, what's known as fear extinction. Unfortunately, fear extinction training is only successful if the animals are taking this kind of training on a regular basis. So if they are not doing this training for a period of time, and then you put them back into the box, the fear comes back again, what's known as spontaneous recovery of the fear. Recently, we have discovered that if we do the fear extinction training, and we combine it with a specific drug, it's still under research though, that we are using it in our lab. We find that even if the animals are not doing this extinction training for a period of time, and then you put them back into the box, the fear never comes back again. So in conclusion, and to come back to my first question, with this new approach, we believe that it's quite possible to get rid of traumatic memories. And for all of you who've raised your hands in the beginning, hoping to get rid of your own traumatic memories, don't worry at all. Soon, we will have the means to. What if you planned for the biggest heist ever, and while ordering the banker to fill your bags with the money, you suddenly realized that your mask is still around your neck? That would be quite embarrassing, right? So you quickly pull it over your head, and then you look for your gun to discover that you, oops, forgot it with your accomplice who's waiting for you outside in the car. At that point, that's an utter failure. This is not a joke. It happened in real life in Auckland, New Zealand. It was referred to as the most amusing robbery ever, where the people and the banker were giggling, giving their money to the robber, who, by the way, after fleeing with the money, got arrested with his accomplice 2 hours later. So what happened with our incompetent robber here is called absent-mindedness, where you simply forget what you initially planned for. This is only one example out of many errors our minds could easily commit. But sometimes forgetting to remember is by far better than recalling a memory that never happened. Allow me to explain. In 1975, Melbourne, Australia, a lady got raped, but she gave a vivid description of the perpetrator to the police, leading them to his door. When they arrested the guy, he had a bulletproof alibi. It turned out that this guy is the psychology professor Donald Thompson, and at the same exact time when the crime took place, he was on live TV, being interviewed by a police commissioner, discussing memory distortions. So what really happened, while she was watching the show, the real rapist broke into her place and did what he did, and she mistakenly developed a false memory. So now, if you think that developing a false memory is something infrequent in nature, or exclusive to people with memory impairments, maybe you should think again of how many times you were dead sure of switching off the lights or the TV at your place, and then when you return back, you find that they are still on. Research has shown that there is no correlation whatsoever between your degree of certainty about a specific memory and this memory being true. So the bottom line here is we all do create false memories on a daily basis, mostly about trivial things, but if in a courtroom and your own lives are on the line because of one of them, then we have to pay more attention to this matter. In the States, there are around 300 people who were convicted based on a false memory of a witness. And after spending up to 30 years behind bars, they were proven innocent by DNA testing. That's quite alarming. And that's why a lot of memory researchers are dedicating their efforts to study false memories in the lab. But before I tell you how they do so, let me maybe do a simple exercise with you. I read out loud 2 word lists, and then I'll ask a couple of questions afterwards. The first word list: candy, sour, sugar, bitter, good, taste, tooth, nice, honey, soda, chocolate, heart, cake, tart, pie. Second word list: mad, wrath, fear, hate, fight, rage, hatred, temper, mean, fury, ire, emotion, enrage. So now please raise your hand if you remember that the word sweet was on the first word list. Keep your hands up. Now raise your other hand if you remember that the word anger was on the second word list. Okay, great. That's a lot of you, and this is exactly how we induce a false memory in the lab, because neither of these words were in either of these lists. So in the lab, after the volunteers take the very same exercise like you did, they go inside a big brain scanner. This brain scanner can precisely measure the brain activation. And it turns out that the brain region responsible for hearing shows a very low activation upon the recall of a false memory, like the word sweet, which was not on the list and they never heard, when compared to the activation of recalling a true memory, like the word nice, which was on the list and they indeed heard. So my take-home message here is, by further developing this approach, it's quite possible to have a memory accuracy detector that can filter memories, true from phony. And since not all cases have evidence that's useful for DNA testing, this approach could definitely save lots of innocent lives in the courtroom. Thank you.